With Bart. This is 107. The Point. Please press button now. No, number one.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornbluth, Chris Bergen, and Pat Daniel. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on sportstalksc.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil, Chris, and Pat with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk Media Network. Brand new week. It's the Monday after. We check off one more weekend till we get to college football. In fact, we got some college football cranking up this week. They do have a week 0 in college football, much like we do in the state of South Carolina for high school. But for our teams, we still have a couple more weeks to go before we'll be diving into it full time. So we are back on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. Tonight, we're at Presbyterian College, back in the state after being up in Chicago last week. So it's good to be back here in South Carolina. It's good to be over at Presbyterian College, where they are starting anew with a new coaching staff and really a new mindset as well. And looking forward to being here to talk with the folks at Presbyterian and kind of getting their take on the way things have gone so far in camp, feelings about the progress, things that they are implementing, and new, fresh start for this program here at Presbyterian after going through a particularly rough year last year and trying to make that transition from where they have been to now fully into the Pioneer League and into the non-scholarship phase of football and trying to compete at that level. Steve Englehart, of course, the new head coach, and he's got new coaches here all around him. So we'll be talking with him and a couple of players a little bit later on in the program. They'll be joining us a little bit after 7 o'clock. Meantime, up at Clemson today, we have the two coordinators meeting with the media. Wes Goodwin on defense and Brandon Streeter on offense. Bring you some of that. And at South Carolina today, it was the new associate head baseball coach and recruiting coordinator, Monty Lee, donning his garnet and black, which I wonder if he ever threw it away from his first time through USC as a volunteer assistant under Ray Tanner. It served him well if he kept it because he's wearing it again. He'll be with us live tomorrow night, but tonight we'll bring you a little bit of the Zoom media call that he had this morning. It was a Zoom because Mark Kingston has come down with COVID. And so we were going to have it in person, and I guess Coach Kingston was going to be there to formally introduce him, but he's out with COVID for now. So it was just Monty on a Zoom, and he was very, very good and really spelling out his feelings about being back at South Carolina, his feelings about Clemson, the players he left behind, the 3 Clemson players who have transferred to South Carolina, helping Mark Kingston build a championship team at South Carolina, getting into the postseason and getting back to Omaha. That's all he's focused on, nothing else at this point. So we got that coming your way as well tonight here on Sports Talk. Phone number is 888-898-2525. South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. We'll welcome your phone calls as well. Chris Bergen from the Bergie Palace in the PD and Pat Daniel back at our studios in downtown Columbia with us as well. Chris, another busy weekend we put behind us. We had a terrific race up at Watkins Glen. We had an exciting finish to the PGA playoff event yesterday.
Sure we did. Sure, we had a terrific race at Watkins Glen.
It was good.
That would be a first, but that's, that's all right.
It wasn't a
that
first. There's been a lot of good. You just don't like road courses.
No road course has a good race, and it's bottom line. As you pointed out with Jeff Owens on Friday, there are way too many races of the road course variety. I mean, we figured it out yesterday. A fifth of the regular season is road course racing.
Mm-hmm.
If you like road course racing, I'm sure yesterday was outstanding. If you don't like Chase Elliott, i.e. myself, it was outstanding because Kyle Larson got him out of the way and won the race.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was not all that entertaining. They never are.
Mm-hmm. Okay, speak for yourself. I enjoyed watching the bit I got to see, like the last 10 laps. Had a lot of drama. Had a lot of bumping and grinding. And the good thing about road course races is it usually comes down to at least 2 cars, maybe 3 cars dicing and battling for the lead. It's not a real blowout kind of thing. You usually have a pretty tight finish, which is what we had yesterday. So, but
let me
the key
ask you
thing
this.
is that we're only one more regular season race away, and then we go to the playoffs and we go to Darlington Labor Day weekend.
Thank goodness. If you were to pull in some guys from the NFL Europe when they had that, and from, let's say, arena football and some of the other minor league football situations around the country and around the globe, and threw them into the NFL, would that improve the product or decrease the product?
It depends on the individual. I mean, there's some
because
good
yesterday
players in NFL Europe, and there's some good players in the USL who could, a few of them, a handful of them, perhaps make an NFL roster and perhaps contribute. Don't you remember He Hate Me? He Hate Me made it in the NFL for a brief time.
Yeah, He Hate Me made it in the NFL because he was a marketing phenomenon. Same thing with what we saw yesterday. There were, 7 different countries represented in that race yesterday. They had a driver from Russia. They had a driver from Finland. They had, of course, from Mexico. His name, Daniel Suarez. Thank you. Yeah, Daniel Suarez. They had several international drivers. I'm all for that. But the problem is they don't run the full schedule. So my point is, why pull them in for one race as a road course ringer? Because you feel like that's going to be the opportunity you have as a team to win a race. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I get that.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I find it strange that a Kyle Larson can run in the Xfinity Series and go win on Saturday, as did A.J. Allmendinger. They finished 1-2 on Saturday and 1-2 on Sunday. I find it interesting how they are allowed to have the top line drivers occasionally go drive on the Xfinity level. I guess that's to pump up the Xfinity levels.
Sure, that's exactly why. Exactly why, because no one watches the Xfinity Series unless Chase Elliott, A.J. Allmendinger, and in the past, if Jimmy Johnson or Dale Earnhardt Jr., any of those top line guys were running in the Xfinity Series, they figured out, all right, fans will watch that. But I'm not a fan of that, and I wouldn't be if I'm an Xfinity driver. I've got to run all these races and trying to prove myself, and then all of a sudden you're going to drop the varsity guys in to run a race or two and ruin my opportunity. I don't think it's fair. I don't like it at all.
Take it up with KT tomorrow night. He loves it when you complain, which is practically every time you talk to him on the show.
Trust me, NASCAR does not want to hear the lengthy list of complaints that I have.
Yeah. All right, so over the weekend also you had South Carolina pick up another big commitment yesterday from Xavier Hardy. Defensive end, could be a defensive tackle. It's 19 commitments for the Gamecocks. He's out of Tatnall High School in Macon, Georgia. It's good to recruit Middle Georgia, and South Carolina's hit Middle Georgia. They've hit South Georgia, North Florida. Their impressive recruiting effort continues with Shane Beamer and the Gamecocks really building towards the start of this season. A lot of enthusiasm, as we've talked about. The social media pumping of the Gamecocks, the hyping of the Gamecocks has been pretty much nonstop, which is good. You got the department to do it, and you want to put it out there. That is good. Is it building to a is this realistic for South Carolina fans to feel this excited about the upcoming season? When I mean excited, I mean it's great to be excited about the season. I'm talking about being excited about legitimate wins and a chance to have a great season. Is that legitimate, or is it just smoke and mirrors for the Gamecocks at this point? I bring this up because our poll question of the week has been quite popular in just the first day, Chris and Pat. It's been quite popular, 408 votes in less than 24 hours. Our poll question of the week was Shane Beamer about to embark on year 2 as a head coach of the Gamecocks. Over the next 5 years, I'm not just talking about next year. I'm saying over the next 5 years, which one of these goals is he most likely to achieve with his program? Okay, you ready?
All right.
I got 3 goals. Number 1 is national championship. Number 2 is SEC championship. Number 3 is state championship. And then the 4th option is none of the above. So 408 votes, 47.3% say in the next 5 years, the most likely achievement for his program, in other words, the highest point that they will reach, is a state championship, beating Clemson. 29.9% almost 30% feel like an SEC championship is there in the next 5 years. And 5.6% who voted after smoking heroin voted that that really wasn't nice, was it, to say that? 5.6% say national championship for the Gamecocks in the next 5 years. And then 17.2%. 17.2% Clemson fans say none of the above. So where do you fall with this?
Did you take out the divisional championship on purpose?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So I wanted to get none of the above in there, and you only have 4 options on Twitter polls,
right.
so somebody had to be cut. That was it.
They're going to have a tremendous recruiting run over the next 3 or 4 years and some luck to win a national championship. I agree with the folks who are voting about 5.5%. SEC championship, seeing how it's never been done, is a challenge. I think for sure they should expect to win and beat Clemson over the next 5 years. If they can't beat Clemson in the next 5 years, I'm not sure Shane Beamer's program is on the rise at all. So that's got to be, of the 3, that has to be the least attainable goal. I mean, that's one you should expect over 5 years. What they should be shooting for is an SEC championship. I just don't know that in 5 years can Shane Beamer get that program to that standpoint. This year is going to be a really linchpin season. If they go from 7 wins, including the bowl victory, to let's say 9 or 10 wins and continue the recruiting momentum, then I think you look at them moving forward as a serious SEC contender. But the SEC's not going to get any easier and wait on them to get better with Oklahoma and Texas moving in. So I think the state championship has to be absolutely a must moving forward, right?
So when should they start thinking big? SEC championship, which of course would mean a spot in the playoffs. When legitimately should Gamecock fans, if it's not 5 years from now with the recruiting that's going on now, I mean, this group that they're putting together for 23, by the time they come in and mature, 23, 24, why not by the 25 season?
Right.
This team not be in a position. Yeah. Plus, they've got quarterbacks galore. Their quarterback room, even if Rattler leaves after this first season, Doty's coming back in all likelihood, and we'll see what attrition they might have out of the quarterback room. But they've already got a 24 hotshot quarterback committed to them. I mean, why shouldn't they? Why shouldn't they expect to be cashing in on all this talent by the time the 24-25 season rolls around and win an SEC championship and get into the playoffs?
I would agree. And it took Dabo Swinney, after the initial win over South Carolina, to, I think we all agree, to get the job that he has. They ultimately lost 5 in a row, right? So, and Shane Beamer's lost 1 in a row or 2 in a row. No, 1 in a row. Because they didn't play. Yeah, they didn't play.
1 in a row makes no sense. You can't. One is not a row. One is not in a row.
Hey, if we can have a week 0, we can have a 1 in a row.
I'm with you on that.
My point is, I think you start looking forward to 2-3 years. I don't think they beat Clemson this year. The game next year at Williams-Brice Stadium, I think, is the one they start trying to turn the corner, and I think that's a legitimate opportunity for them to win. And then moving forward, but I think obviously of the opportunities that you have listed on the poll question, they've got to start with the state championship, because the national championship, I think, is several years down the road before you can even begin to. And you've got to win an SEC title first, I would think, before you could even start bragging about the opportunity to be not only in the college football playoff, but also be a serious contender of the 4, 8, 16, whomever we get to when South Carolina is ready to win a national championship. So I think the state championship should be the obviously within the next 4 or 5 years. Obviously, this is the one they've got to tick off the list.
All right, very good. Gamecock scrimmaged on Saturday. Nobody in the media was allowed there, and Beamer did not meet with the media afterwards. Of course, they had people inside. There were some donors and the like inside, maybe some high school coaches, whatever, but not much information has leaked out about that scrimmage. Beamer will meet with the media tomorrow, 1:30, after some players meet with the media, so we'll have that covered for you on the program tomorrow. Phone number, 888-898-2525. That's how you can reach us here, Sports Talk across the state on the Sports Talk Media Network. It's brought to you by the good folks with the South Carolina Education Lottery. Since 2002, more than $174 million in lottery proceeds have been used to purchase, maintain, and fuel over 2,000 school buses in South Carolina. Learn more about the South Carolina Education Lottery's impact at scheducationslottery.com/educationwins. And playing for fun is a win for education. Love to hear from you about what we're talking about tonight, or something we were talking about the end of last week. We're talking about minimum and maximum number of wins for Clemson and South Carolina, respectively. In other words, will Clemson's maximum be 12? Will their minimum be 10? Will the Gamecocks' maximum number of wins be like a 9 and the minimum be like a 7? Where do you think they're going to fall? We'll get to your phone calls here after the break. Couple lines are open right now, so go ahead and grab them. We'll hear from the Clemson coordinators coming up, Monty Lee as well. Talk a little bit more about recruiting for you, too. And, of course, a little bit after 7 o'clock, we'll have the folks here at Presbyterian College joining us. They've been on the practice field this afternoon. It's been a little toasty here in Clinton, from what I understand from the guys. Hopefully they take a shower before they come in here, but I will hold my breath if they haven't, but I'm not holding my breath on them doing that. We'll be back at Presbyterian in a moment.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
Show your team pride wherever you go with Founders Federal Credit Union's collegiate debit cards. Get your University of South Carolina and Clemson University debit cards at any Founders office or by calling 1-800-845-1614. Plus, our debit cards are digital wallet ready, so you can pay however you please. Not a member? Visit relaxjoinfounders.com or one of our 37 convenient locations to see if you qualify for membership. Terms and conditions apply. Founders Federal Credit Union is federally insured by NCUA.
If an insurance company is there to sell you insurance, shouldn't it also be there to service it with real people? At Farm Bureau Insurance, we're here to help with experienced agents ready to provide personal service when you need it most. Call today for your free no-obligation review for auto, home, and life insurance that's custom tailored just for you.
Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, Buddy Bridges and Farm Bureau Insurance have the right policy for you. Call Buddy today in Lawrence County at 864-923-2174.
South Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company, Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi.
There was just a lack of Black women, business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. Growing up, I didn't see that. I figured out that I wanted to be a photographer for women of color. I found my niche and I'm sticking to it.
Each year, the South Carolina Education Lottery raises millions of dollars for scholarships and grants that help students prepare for their dream career, just like Kristen. Your passion is our purpose.
Couple of quick notes here from our Founders Federal Notebook. Get the mouth to work here today. Founders Federal Notebook here on Sports Talk. Couple of quick notes, and we'll get to your phone calls. Grayson McCall, Coastal Carolina quarterback, named to the Manning Award watch list. The only quarterback from the state named to that list. All right, go figure.
Wow.
Clemson defensive tackle Brian Bresee, first team on the AP preseason All-American team. Clemson defensive end Miles Murphy, named to the second team, as was USC cornerback Cam Smith, named to the second team. Baker Mayfield will be, ladies and gentlemen, your Carolina Panthers starting quarterback when the season gets underway. There you go. If you had your money on Baker Mayfield, you are a winner. And I've already got the headline written for the season opening victory. Who they play in the opener?
When is that?
Oh, Cleveland.
Cleveland, yes.
Yeah. Season opening win over Cleveland when he throws for 12 touchdowns. It will, of course, be a baker's dozen.
Baker's dozen, yeah. Well, that'd be 13,
Yeah,
actually.
it's 13.
Touchdown.
Well, I know, but it still, dozen and Baker's goes hand in hand there. I get the whole
If Mayfield throws for 13 touchdowns in the entire season, I think that would be outstanding. And they lost Matt Corral over the weekend. He's got the same injury that Luke Doty dealt with, the Liz Frank injury. So, I mean, they're still a mess at quarterback. And my guess is P.J. Walker is now going to make the team because they don't have any other options at third-string quarterback. And Sam Darnold will obviously be. But back to a great call for a moment. I'm scrolling through the list, and guys like Chase Bryce at Appalachian State are on there, Malik Cunningham at Louisville. You've got Sam Hartman, who we don't know if he'll even play, much less how much he'll play this season. Chris Reynolds at Charlotte. What does that say about the status of quarterback with Spencer Rattler and also DJ Oyunlele, that neither one of them are on the Manning Award watch list?
Yeah, I'm really surprised at both of those. I mean, both of those have a big enough reputation to warrant consideration to be on there. I am surprised about that, to be quite honest with you. And what it says, of course, about DJU is the national folks aren't convinced he's going to be a great quarterback for Clemson. And what it says about Rattler is they're not sure what to expect with Rattler and the transfer to South Carolina. So maybe that'll put the old chip on the shoulder and fire him up a little bit more. Let's go to John in Spartanburg, get some phone calls rolling here on this Monday night. Love to hear from you while we have time. 888-898-2525. We come to you from beautiful Presbyterian College, deep in the heart of Clinton. Clinton.
Well done, sir.
None. John,
by the way, you're at Bailey? Are you at New Bailey?
No. We're down here in the dungeon of the athletic department, right off the gym floor. You know it well.
I know
down here with the guys. John in Spartanburg, welcome into Sports Talk tonight. Good to have you with us.
Thanks a lot, guys. I had a couple of questions I wanted to ask you, Phil, real quick.
Sure.
Concerning high school football. The first one is the Dorchester Showcase. We like to keep our eye on the low country teams down there throughout the season, just to make sure. But did that thing ever get off the ground? Like, did they ever get to play that showcase?
They played regular season games, those that could play. They played regular season games on Friday and Saturday. You're talking about the week prior. Did they play in the showcase? I know they had the.
No, they actually had one this past weekend. They were scheduled to anyway.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a jamboree. Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have? Right. Did they get off? Did they play it, Chris?
That I do not know. With all the rain, I know Goose Creek and South Florence getting set to play their regular season game had to move it to Saturday and still sit out the rain. They actually got that in. I'm not sure about the jamboree though.
Well, South Florence got it in. Goose Creek was still stuck in the mud.
No doubt.
Oh my gosh, what a whipping that was. Let's see, that final score was where is that? South Florence. They beat them badly. South Florence over Goose Creek. Anything else? Any other question?
Yeah. I saw that Ocean Collegiate played Gray Collegiate. Now, is that the one there out of Columbia?
Yeah. The defending state champion, Gray Collegiate.
Right. So that's the one that everybody's kind of complaining about. Okay, but they got beat.
Yeah. Oceanside and Gray are owned by the same people. That's all under the same umbrella management-wise. It's the same little school system. Yeah, and Oceanside got them pretty good because they're good as well. They got the big lineman, Monroe Freeling, and they're good as well. So Oceanside got them pretty good.
Right. Now, Phil, are they close to Somerville and that school, Ocean Collegiate? Because, they had Joe Call, who came from Somerville. McKissic's grandson was the coach there. And he brought over Kobe Shottery, who was a quarterback for Somerville, and I think one other player.
Well, Joe has left, and Joe has gone to the Citadel, where he's working with the Bulldog program. Oceanside Collegiate is actually in Mount Pleasant. Well, it's not too far from Wando High School. Yeah, it's out that way on 17 between Allendale and the outskirts of Mount Pleasant there.
Right. Okay, because I kind of wondered. I know the folks in Somerville there weren't too happy, weren't too thrilled about losing that quarterback. Because I know he'd been there for a little while, and whoever the other player was. But Yeah, I kind of wondered about that. Now, I guess someone will be breaking in a new quarterback, I'm guessing, because Shari should be gone, should be graduated.
Let's see. Pat's telling us here that the jamboree you asked about officially canceled. So
yeah, I'm reading right here. Fort Dorchester, Somerville was canceled. The Woodland Ashley Ridge was canceled, and then Somerville. That's weird. They have Somerville Ashley Ridge. Looks like they were playing. Either way, the Dorchester County Showdown was completely
sometimes
canceled.
in those jamborees you'll play 2 quarters. Or you'll play 2 quarters, and then other teams will play, and you'll come back and play 2 more quarters. You can play more than one. So, all right, got to hit a break, and we'll be back.
There's only a 20% chance we get some Tuesday shower activity. Looking ahead mid-80s as our high temps all week with rain chances much higher on Thursday and Friday. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
You've seen the news. You've talked to your friends. You may have even looked around yourself. Home prices are nuts. Seems like no one is offering any kind of discount except Lexington Discount Homes. Discount is their middle name. Quality homes that fit your budget with the size, model, and floor plan that your family needs. You can still afford your dream home at Lexington Discount Homes, Augusta Highway near Ballpark Road, 803-951-1900 or LexingtonDiscountHomes.com.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Police in Atlanta have arrested a woman in connection with a deadly shooting. Police say the woman shot 3 people, killing 2 of them on Peachtree Street. It happened at 2 different locations, about 1:45 local time this afternoon. Dr. Anthony Fauci, that's the nation's top infectious diseases expert, is leaving the federal government in December. The 81-year-old Fauci is President Joe Biden's chief medical advisor, as well as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Former President Trump pushing back against a raid on his home in Mar-a-Lago, saying it was unconstitutional, and he's filed a lawsuit seeking to stop the FBI from reviewing those documents he says were seized in violation of his constitutional rights. On Wall Street at the close, the Dow was down 643 points. The NASDAQ today lost 323. This is SRN News.
If you're an avid shooter or you're new to shooting, Shooter's Choice is your paradise. A firearms specialty store with all types of firearms, ammunition, accessories, AR platform rifles, shotguns, hunting rifles, and much more. Shooter's Choice has the largest and best selection of firearms in the area. Shooter's Choice is the oldest, the most professional firearms dealer in the Midlands. They've served us for more than 30 years. Family owned, they've never let themselves lose that hometown feel. You go into Shooter's Choice, you'll get experts who hunt and shoot. It's not like some big box store. Their staff has decades of experience. You just won't get this anywhere else. From the classics to the newest cutting-edge products anywhere in the firearms world, they buy, sell, and trade firearms. They have an indoor firing range for handguns and hunting rifles. If you don't want to spend the gas money, hop on shooterschoicesc.com and shop online 24/7. Whatever you choose, Shooter's Choice will make it easy on you. In West Columbia at 944 Sunset Boulevard or online, shooterschoicesc.com. Make it your first choice, your best choice. Make it Shooter's Choice.
Gas prices, grocery prices, inflation has hit us all, and it's caused the Fed to raise interest rates. As a result, after historically low mortgage rates for what seemed like forever, interest rates for a mortgage have jumped in recent months. Fran Halloran here. Let me make something clear to you. Mortgage rates are rising. They may continue to rise as the Fed tries to get a grip on inflation. What hasn't changed is the incredible customer service you'll get from Greg McCoy and Simplified Mortgage Solutions. Greg can't control interest rates. He can, however, control fees. With rates on the rise, now more than ever, you need to know you're getting the very best deal. Greg will make sure of that. He's more than just a mortgage guy. Greg McCoy is your trusted advisor. You might be surprised to learn how much Simplified Mortgage and Greg McCoy can do to help you with your biggest financial investment. Not sure? Have questions? Give Greg a call at Simplified Mortgage, 803-722-6044, or find him online at simplifiedmortgagesc.com. Greg McCoy, NMLS 119871.
You know what? I get asked every now and then, Kev, when you say my guy, do you really have a my guy at Palmetto Exterminators? I really do. Ron Byers is my guy. Do you realize I've been a customer of Palmetto Exterminators for 20 years this summer? That's over the course of 3 homes, longer than my kids have been around. I'm loyal to Palmetto Exterminators for several reasons. First, they do a phenomenal job with pest control for a very fair price. It's just not a concern around my home. They take care of everything from regular visits to termite inspection, mosquito care. This is a company that's been around for more than 60 years serving the Midlands. When they come around, they're clean, they're courteous, and they're on time. Look, it's not just me. When it comes to things like those pesky mosquitoes, Palmetto Exterminators voted best of Columbia in Columbia Metropolitan for their mosquito control. I could have told you that before anyone even voted. What else can you possibly need from your pest control company? If you're looking for someone to help you, look no further than my guy, Ron Byers, Palmetto Exterminators. Online, it's palmettoexterminators.net, or call them 254-5833, 254-5833.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network Monday night, heading into a busy week as we crisscross the state, continuing with the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. Tonight we're at Presbyterian College. Always fun to come up here and visit with the Blue Hose. Tomorrow we'll be at Furman, and on Wednesday at Charleston Southern as we move towards the coast for the latter part of the week. Our phone number is 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number here on Sports Talk. Got some open lines if you want to join in on the program and talk about what you're thinking regarding the beginning of the season. Now just a couple of weeks away. I tell you what, Chris, I mean, yes, South Carolina should handle Georgia State, but they better be careful. They better be careful. Georgia State can play some good defense. They've been really good at sacking the quarterback the last couple of years. They got a veteran quarterback returning. They had better be careful with Georgia State and not – this might be the best team that Sean Elliott's had at Georgia State. And they're coming off a bowl year this past season. So they better be careful. And then Georgia Tech, this should be the best team they've had under this coaching staff at Georgia Tech. They've got a quarterback returning who was pretty good last year before he got hurt. They have a new offensive coordinator in Chip Long, who's highly regarded. Chris Winkie is the quarterback's coach. So making that transition, which was tough for them, making that transition from the decades of the triple option to what they're doing now, running the spread, and they're averaging 3 wins a year in 3 years. That's 3-3-3. They've won 3-3-3 in the 3 years under their coach. This appears to be the opportunity for them to have a breakout year. So I'm saying, too, about Clemson going to play them in Atlanta to open it up. Better be careful. I got a feeling Clemson's going to come out and run the football, because I get the feeling from what I'm reading from people that they don't believe in the passing game. They don't have great confidence in the passing game. We're going to hear from Brandon Streeter here coming up. Maybe he'll tell us otherwise, but that's the sense I'm getting from what I'm reading from people up there.
I just find that so hard to believe. I think Clemson is playing a little poker here with us all. And Dabo Swinney's got a pretty good poker face. I can't imagine the offense is going to be hamstrung to the standpoint they can't throw the ball down the field. And speaking of Georgia Tech, though, I saw an interesting stat. I think it was late last week that of the guys that Jeff Collins brought in his first recruiting class, none of them is still at Georgia Tech. If I remember reading that correctly, they have lost all of their first recruiting class, trying to transition, as you pointed out, from the triple option over to the spread. I just think that is a monumental task that he is trying to undertake at Georgia. It's something that has to happen. But I'm not sure he's ever going to be able to see the fruits of his labors, because I don't know how long Georgia Tech is going to be able to stomach 3 wins, 2 wins, 4 wins. I don't know how much longer he can be there. Somebody else, whoever takes over after him, may really reap the benefits of being in Atlanta and being able to recruit some top-notch players and trying to go head-to-head with Georgia. I'm just not sure he's going to be able to do that. And it's a shame, because he is understanding what you have to be in terms of Power 5 football. You cannot run the triple option anymore. And Clemson, as much as anybody, I think it's somewhat ironic that Clemson's their opening game. Clemson proved to them that triple option doesn't work, because Clemson's team speed, they just ran down everything. Brent Venables has as good a game plan against that offense as anybody. And I think he's part of the reason that they're no longer running that.
Well, let's get an update on that Clemson offense. Brandon Streeter, the first-year offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach for the Tigers, met with the media after they had practice. Tigers practiced this morning, and then the media came around. They brought the two coordinators over to talk with the media. So here is Brandon Streeter from earlier today giving the update on how things are looking now here late in camp, turning their attention to Georgia Tech, maybe a little bit of work on Furman in there because those games are going to be close together with Clemson playing on a Monday, then having to turn around and play on a Saturday. So they've got to start paying a little bit of attention to their game plan for Furman too. Here's Brandon Streeter as they talked to the media earlier today.
It was a good day back. You know, it was good to get back on the grass. You had a couple of days off, got the guys a little bit rested, you know, and that was definitely a good thing to kind of regroup. And really, I talked to them about recommitting to the grind and recommitting to their position and doing the details. And so first day back, you know, wasn't perfect, but did some good things. You know, I think some guys just got to learn how to mentally be ready for every single day. You know, and that's a hard thing to do. But for the most part, you know, they did some good things and had a couple more installation items. So they're grasping it very, very well at this point.
I suppose y'all settled in the top five, best five linemen starting?
Well, I mean, we're never always settled, you know, until the very, very last, you know, week maybe. But yeah, I mean, we feel pretty good about some of our guys that have been repping with those ones and also some of those guys with the twos as well. So, you know, feel really good about mentally where they are. You know, like I told you guys before, it's so important to those offensive linemen know a couple positions. You know, like Walker Parks is going to know tackle and guard. I mean, he's got to know both sides. All right. You know, Marcus has got to know both guard and tackle. You know, we just got to be prepared for anything and everything. And so, and then I feel great where Blake is, you know, learning that tackle position and Walker, you know, bumping inside for some of the guard stuff. And so we're still rotating those guys and continuing to evaluate. But man, I feel really, really good about where those guys are.
Would Blake run out there first if y'all had to play?
We had to play right now, yeah.
What's the
guy? You know, he's got a really good big picture for a freshman. I mean, it's very, very much like a Mitch Hyatt type deal where, you know, came in and just really understands the game, which is hard to do at offensive line when there's so many moving parts. It's hard to do at a young age. A lot of times it takes a little bit longer for those guys. And then he brings a toughness every single day. I mean, there is no question. There's no question at all that he is one of the toughest guys we got. He's really strong too. So, I mean, all those things combined to, you know, doing some good stuff.
Adam Randall, how close is he to being back?
Yeah,
and clear?
Man, I'll tell you what, Adam was running some routes today. I don't know if y'all saw it, but it was pretty fun to watch. You know, he was doing some stuff, not getting touched yet, but he was still, you know, running a lot of good routes and just getting back into the swing of things and trying to get back into the football shape that you need to be in as far as a receiver. And he did some good things. So it's really, really neat to see him out there at such an early time with his recovery.
What does he bring when he is back in full recruit?
Well, as we saw in the spring, I mean, he brings a lot. He brings a lot of big play potential. He made plays, you know, in the run game and in the pass game. But, man, he made the one-on-one plays a lot against some of our best guys on defense. And so it was very, very exciting and gave the offense confidence whenever he was out there. So that big play mentality is the biggest thing.
Still no timetable exactly. Still no timetable exactly for him yet.
There isn't. It's not gonna be. It's just kind of week by week. You know, we'll get him sometime here soon, I think, and sometime here in the next, you know, month or two for sure. I mean, it's not gonna be like at the end of the season. So we're really excited about that. He's such a great kid. He just works his butt off.
What do you see from Cade from spring to now?
Yeah. Well, I see a lot more confidence because of the summer. Him going in there and watching more film, watching the clips from the spring, watching the good things and then the mistakes that he made in the spring and corrected those. So just absorbing it a lot more allows him to be more confident and knowing where to go with the ball even faster. So I feel really good with where he is. Plenty to work on, but man, I'm telling you, he's a guy that just is continuing to get better, and that's all you can hope for as a coach.
How confident you think the team is around him that he would be ready to go in as a number 2 guy?
Yeah, no, very confident. Very confident. He brings energy. He brings leadership. All the guys respect him because of his work ethic and who he is as a person and his character. And so there's a ton of confidence with Cade whenever he goes in there too.
In a perfect world, how would you want to fit him in early in the season?
Yeah, I mean, Cade's going to play. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's going to play. How much is hard to tell. We're still a couple weeks away, and that's always based on what we're doing on offense and how we're moving the ball and all those things take a big part of it too. So I got a lot of confidence with him and with the first group, second group. It doesn't matter. I mean, I feel really good about where he's at.
There's certain situations with him where he maybe does things different than the DJ that maybe you would use him in a certain situation where.
At this point, right now, it's just they're playing quarterback, and we roll in plays based on their, what their skill set is. Right. He's can move out of the pocket a little bit better than DJ. He can, run the ball on the edge a little bit better than DJ. DJ's probably a little better than him getting downhill. So just different types of runs there, just to make sure that we facilitate and do things that measure up to what their skill set is.
All right, Brandon Streeter, the offensive coordinator for Clemson. We'll hear from Wes Goodwin on the defensive side after the break. Couple of interesting things there that really caught my eye, and that is the talk of Miller starting. If they were playing today, Blake Miller, the true freshman, would start at right tackle, and they'd move Parks to right guard. So they shake things up there on the offensive line if they were playing today. And
you speculated on that Friday, Phil. You thought that might be the route they go.
Yeah,
and I think Brandon just confirmed that today.
That's what they've been talking about up there a good bit, and that's why you hear Larry Williams in particular ask that question. He's been writing about that for the last really couple of weeks. The idea of them when they moved Putnam over to center,
right,
and then that opened up the right guard spot, and now they're making the adjustments. And Miller has come in like a man. I mean, he's obviously a young man who's is probably a good-looking guy, if you know what I mean, and come in ready to play, mature beyond his years as a true freshman, and able to handle the wear and tear of playing right tackle. So,
he's come from the perfect place to be an offensive lineman, right? He's from Strongsville, Ohio. So if you're going to play on the offensive line, you want to get a guy who's 6'6", 315 from Strongsville, wherever. It just happens to be Ohio. And Ohio has a tendency to produce some awfully good high school football players.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Parks started from day one for them at right tackle. And don't forget, you had Hyatt a few years ago start from day one at left tackle. So they have been able to bring in those kind of players capable of doing that. All right, we'll go to the break, and on the other side, we'll hear from the defensive coordinator for the Tigers, Wes Goodwin, get his thoughts on how the Tigers defense looked over the weekend and how things are coming together for them as they prepare for that opener at Georgia Tech, which will be 2 weeks from tonight. They're at the Mercedes-Benz, they don't call it Mercedes-Benz Dome, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, right? Looking forward to going in there for the first time. I've not yet set foot inside there, so I'm looking forward to that. We'll be back after the break.
It all builds up to this at Darlington Raceway.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs, why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Labor Day weekend big.
Get in your car here. That's how you make a move.
Like Southern 500 big. The only thing bigger than the action would be the experience of seeing it live. And that
I got into the wall.
Might just be too tough to take.
Bring it home.
NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 3rd through the 4th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
If you're looking to stay hydrated this summer, turn toward a southern favorite, sweet South Carolina watermelons. One slice is equivalent to a glass of water and is just as effective as sports drinks for hydration. If you don't believe us, you can ask the Palmetto State's top football teams. The SC Watermelon Association will be serving up slices after summer practice to keep our teams fueled and hydrated. Visit scwatermelon.org for all the details and look for ripe South Carolina watermelons in your hometown.
Hi, this is Phil Kornblut of Sports Talk here with Major Billy Downer of the Department of Natural Resources. What words of wisdom do you have for those hitting the water this summer?
Phil, collisions can be prevented easily if every vessel operator fulfills three major responsibilities. One, practice good seamanship. It's the responsibility of every boat or PWC operator to take all necessary action to avoid a collision. Two, keep a proper lookout. Failing to keep a sharp lookout is the most common cause of boating collisions. And finally, maintain a safe speed. Remember, boat safe, boat smart.
All right, catching up on the Clemson side of things today. We'll catch up on the Gamecocks tomorrow. Shane Beamer will be on the program, not in person, but via audio, because he'll be meeting with the media tomorrow after the practice and after we hear from players. So here is Wes Goodwin, the Tigers defensive coordinator, following up on what we just heard from Brandon Streeter on the offensive side. Here we are catching up on the defensive side with the Tigers DC.
Been a great camp so far. Good to get back on the field today after a few days off. Good to recharge and recalibrate this weekend. And guys, we're excited to get back on the grass and get going, starting to flip the switch into game prep mode and starting to get dialed in on the first opponents. And been a good, hard physical camp. A lot of good work, good on good, and great energy. Guys are at a great conditioning level. We're excited to start flipping the switch here. So we'll open up for questions.
I'm sure you're dialing in on the depth chart, but other than 11, how many guys do you feel like, man, maybe we have 14 starters, 15 starters, because you use so many different guys in different ways?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I feel good, probably about 16 to 18 guys, actually. I feel like our two deep could go out there and start any game and feel good about, really comfortable with what they can do in performance levels and stuff like that. I feel like they're at a good standpoint knowledge-wise, so I feel really good about our two deep.
The cornerback group, that's probably the one that's got to come along the most as far as depth. What have you seen out of those guys?
Yeah, definitely. Competition brings out the best in all of us. And, those guys have been competing and fighting for those two spots, and feel really good about all those guys. Feel good that any one of those guys could run out there the first snap and perform at the level that we expect them to. So really pleased to see where they're at from a mental standpoint, technique standpoint. All of them are really competitive kids and have really put in the work.
Still no separation there, right?
Not really. I feel like there's a lot of battles still going on to right up until kickoff. So, still keeping the competition open.
Out of these two scrimmages, what have you seen that's pleased you? What have you seen that you don't like?
Yeah, I mean, I think this past scrimmage, our guys were really dialed in, came out with a lot of great energy. They were focused, came out with the right mindset, a lot of energy, and, a couple bust here and there that we got to get cleaned up. But obviously, we got 2 weeks to get that fixed. But for the most part, our guys came out and competed, and really happy from that standpoint. A lot of these days, camp's a grind, so a lot of it's just mentality and how you attack the day and coming out with the right mindset. And our guys did that in our last scrimmage.
Wes, who do you got at Sam behind Barrett? Who do you got working behind him?
Yeah, Wade Woodhouse has repped there a lot. And then once we get into nickel situations, Malcolm's been playing there, and so is Makuba. So I feel good about those four guys being able to go out there and compete and do what we asked them to do. But I feel good about those four guys.
With your linebackers in the middle, how's that competition going? And I know you're not going to name somebody until the start. But
Yeah, definitely.
What's going on there?
Yeah, really pleased from where all four of those guys have been at. All four can run out there game one and feel really confident in their ability, and hope to be able to play all four of them, as much as they earn the right to play and all. But they've been focused. They're really accountable, really great kids. They show up every day with the right mindset. That's all I can ask of them. And they've been bought in and really dialed in and doing what we asked them to do.
Those four are.
Keith McGuire, Trotter, Vontae Bentley, and Trenton Simpson. He's progressing right along, so hopefully sooner than later. But I can tell you he's at a really good spot and has done a tremendous job of rehabbing and putting in time in the training room, and hopefully getting back here soon.
With Wade in particular, what have you seen out of him that has you confident in him as kind of the number two guy right now?
Yeah, he's a competitor. Got great length and speed. He runs really well. Can change directions for that size. Really smart, really savvy, really understands zone coverage, improving his man technique every day, can blitzing, a bigger body can set the edge in the perimeter screen game. And so you can utilize him in various ways. And, he kind of a quiet kid, but all about his business. And the game's hasn't been too big since he's been out there, scrimmages, all that. He's just dialed in and focused every rep he gets.
With XT out on the defensive line, who's really stood out to you or impressed you in his absence?
Yeah, I mean, I think those older guys, obviously, Miles, KJ, Maskell, those guys have separated themselves. And then the next tier, Kevin Swint, Kate Denhoff, and Greg going as well. Those kind of guys can fill that fourth spot and feel really confident that they can go out there and execute the defense.
Trenton had obviously a good season last year, but is he poised to really break out? We're talking first team All ACC kind of guy.
I mean, I hope he has a really tremendous year. He's more than capable of it, and he's really worked extremely hard this offseason and has been really self-motivated to learn the will linebacker spot. You can tell all his hard work from the season summer has really paid off, and he's playing really confident, really fast. Just a couple things here and there to clean up every day, but every day is a learning experience, and he keeps stacking good days on top of the other. And so hopefully, he can reach his best potential this year, and I think it could be really special.
All right, from Wes Goodwin to the recruiting report we go here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. Another week of the Daily Luncheon Buffet in front of you here in the Columbia area and across the state of South Carolina. They invite everybody who comes into town, whether you're a native Columbian or you're from way on out there. Come on in and enjoy a great luncheon buffet. All right, and I invite everybody to come in and do so. It's only $13. You will not be disappointed. And it goes from 11 till 2, Monday through Friday. Had a roast beef Friday this past Friday, and that's the highlight of any week with the Daily Luncheon Buffet. Pat, do we have an updated menu for this week, or is it too soon?
We do, Corn, and I am already drooling over tomorrow's menu here in the studio.
Ooh.
Tomorrow will be carved black oak ham, southern fried chicken, and this next part is very intriguing. Fried steak bites with white gravy. Not sure I've seen that on the menu, but that sounds exceptional.
That does.
Then Wednesday, teriyaki and hot chicken wings to go along with southern fried chicken and fried fish nuggets. And keep in mind there, wings are extremely expensive if you go to one of the traditional wing restaurants. But here, you're still getting it for that same price of the all-you-can-eat buffet. Thursday, carved roasted sirloin of beef along with southern fried chicken and fried flounder. And to end the week, southern fried chicken, baked seasoned pork chops, which I also don't think I've seen before, and then traditional spaghetti.
Oh, wow. What a menu for this week. The folks at Seawells have hit a home run. They have scored a touchdown. Speaking of, you want to park near Williams-Brice Stadium? Well, give them a call. They have got a parking on their spots, and the phone number is 803-771-7385. You can also email them, SeawellsCatering@gmail.com. Tailgating on the property, parking on the property as well. Grab those spots while they are still available. All right, in recruiting, the Gamecocks, of course, picked up a commitment yesterday. It's another good one out of Georgia. Defensive end Xavion Hardy, 6'6", 260, could end up sliding inside and playing a defensive tackle. He announced his commitment not long after Shane Beamer issued one of his welcome home commitment alerts. He picked the Gamecocks over a bunch of people, including Georgia, Florida, Miami, UCF, Jackson State, Ole Miss, and Florida State, and actually narrowed to USC, Florida, and Liberty. And he developed a very good relationship with defensive line coach Jimmy Lindsey over time and over his visits. He said he'd just been in love with South Carolina since day one. It felt like home. He told us that earlier in the spring. That's 19 commitments now for the Gamecocks. Hardy had 56 tackles, including 18 for loss and 7 sacks. So if he becomes the leader of the defensive front, they become, of course, what? The Hardy Boys. Clemson target. Defense, that's not that funny. Defensive
well,
tackle.
It is because no one knows what you're talking about except old folks like us. And I love it.
Clemson target defensive tackle Caden McDonald of Sewanee, Georgia, told Rusty Manziel of 24/7 following his game in Atlanta Saturday. He'll take his official to Clemson October 26th. But there's a catch. We'll have to tell you about that coming up after the break. Stay with us. We'll be back.
By the way, before we do what's supposed to happen here, thank you for pushing the button. I thank you. Programming thanks you. America thanks you.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Police in Atlanta have arrested a woman in connection with a deadly shooting. Police say the woman shot 3 people, killing 2 of them at 2 different locations. It happened about 2 o'clock local time this afternoon. Authorities say a body found in a Northern California reservoir is believed to be that of a teen missing for weeks after attending a party at a Sierra Nevada campground. Here's correspondent Norman Hall.
Nevada County Sheriff Shannon Moon says a body believed to be that of 16-year-old Kylie Rodney was inside a car in Prosser Lake. Moon says volunteer divers using sonar equipment located the car, which came to rest upside down in 14 feet of water. A law enforcement task force now needs to determine how and why divers with Oregon-based Adventures with Purpose were able to find the body despite searches in the same area by the task force. Rodney was last seen August 6 near the Prosser family campground in Truckee, attending a party with hundreds of young people. I'm Norman Hall.
Former President Trump has filed a motion seeking an independent review of the records seized by the FBI during what he calls its unprecedented and unnecessary raid of Mar-a-Lago earlier this month. According to the motion filed today in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, Mr. Trump and his legal team say they're seeking an order to appoint a special master to review those records and to block any further review of those seized materials for the time being. A new study has found Switzerland's 1,400 glaciers have lost more than half of their total volume since the early 1930s. Science correspondent Jamie Keaton.
Percentage is increasing over a shorter time span, which suggests that this process of glacier melting is going faster and faster.
And in records kept dating back to 1931 up through 2016, about half of the glaciers have lost roughly 50% of their volume in that time span. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Factor pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story. All of us come from somewhere. All of us have origin stories.
From executive producer Larry Elder
Divine Providence was clearly operating in the lives of Black Americans.
and director Justin Malone.
When I was growing up, we were never taught that America was bad. We were raised to love America.
Comes the continuation of their 2020 hit film, Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom Part 2, An American Odyssey. Pre-order today on Salem Now.
Correspondent Ed Donahue reports on a space telescope taking a closer look at Jupiter.
The new Webb Space Telescope is showing Jupiter's auroras and tiny moons. Photos released by NASA and taken last month show Jupiter's northern and southern lights and swirling polar haze. There were a lot of images that stood out, including Jupiter's Great Red Spot, a storm big enough to swallow Earth. A wide field picture shows the faint rings around Jupiter, as well as 2 tiny moons against a glittering background of galaxies.
That is Ed Donahue reporting. First Lady Joe Biden has left COVID-19 isolation after twice testing negative for the coronavirus. After testing positive last week, the First Lady isolated in South Carolina. That's where the Bidens were wrapping up a family vacation. She was prescribed a 5-day course of the antiviral Paxlovid and over the weekend tested negative for COVID twice. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com.
On Point Weather is made possible by our
Tomorrow's
friends
decision
at
day.
Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with a low dipping down to 71 this evening. Tomorrow, much like today, with a high of 86 and mostly cloudy skies. There's only a 20% chance we get some Tuesday shower activity. Looking ahead, mid-80s as our high temps all week with rain chances much higher on Thursday and Friday. I'm Brian Leonard with your on-point local weather. WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil, Chris, and Pat with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
Okay, back we are, Sports Talk Media Network on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour on this Monday night. We're at Presbyterian College, and, of course, we've been here many, many times over the years, but it's our first time with the brand-new head coach of the Blue Hose, Coach Steve Englehart, who made the move here from Florida Tech after, well, they disbanded the program at Florida Tech, and PC was looking for a coach at the same time, and so his good fortune is the good fortune of the Blue Hose, as he was a very successful coach at Florida Tech, and now he is here at Presbyterian, kind of starting over, and PC is starting over as well, so to speak. Coach, it's great to have you with us.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate you being here.
How was your practice this afternoon? You're just off the practice field a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it was good. We had our really second full scrimmage of the camp. You know, we're a little less than 2 weeks away from our first game, and thought we would get a good number of plays in a full live scrimmage. And you know, the first scrimmage went to the defense. We couldn't get much movement on offense, and I think only scored one touchdown really in a full field situation. And today went to the offense. I don't know how many touchdowns we scored, but too many for the defensive likings. I know that. But, you know, I think things are starting to come together. And like I said, we got a lot of kids reps today, and we've got a lot of youth on our team right now. So it's really important to get them in those live situations, and we've been doing that quite a bit with just situational type of football and trying to present different things to them. So today was a good practice, and we'll lighten up on them here tomorrow, and then get back at it pretty good on Wednesday.
From a number standpoint, how many players did you inherit? How many players did you have to bring in to fill out your roster?
Yeah, I think we were right around 60 players or so that were returning. And probably a little less than that now, maybe around 55 or so. And we brought in about 60 players, 60 freshmen to fill out our 110. And then now that school starts on Wednesday, we'll have a few more that will start with us, you know, once school starts. So we'll be right around that 110 to 115 range.
So your first emphasis when you got here in trying to put your roster together and kind of determine, okay, got to focus on this first, then I got to focus on that. I mean, what were some of your early priorities in putting things together?
You know, really just discipline from a off the field standpoint, you know, how we do things on a daily basis. And I think that's, you know, that might be coach talk a little bit, but it really was, you know, just getting our guys to really believe and buy into, you know, how you act and how you do things off the field and how you do things in the locker room, how you keep your locker room, how you keep your locker, you know, how you take care of the things around the facility, how you walk around campus and you know, how you treat people on campus and in our community, I think is, you know, that's the number one thing, and trying to build that culture of, you know, what we do is we do it as one, and you know, one black eye on the program is a program on the entire program. Sure. You know, and you know, so we just I think just really hit home, you know, the discipline part of things, and how we do things, how we stretch, how we attack practice each day. And you know, we have a motto, pull the rope, and you know, pull the rope is, you know, if you think about your tug of war, you know, and really just you know, it's your everyday struggle with life and doing things the right way, even though you sometimes don't want to do things, so, the three things that we talk about with pull the rope is you got to give great effort in everything that you do, and how you do something is how you do everything. And you got to give great effort in the classroom and your relationships in the locker room. And if you do all those things and great effort on the practice field and in the weight room, it'll follow, because it's a habit. And then you got to have great discipline doing the things that maybe you don't necessarily want to do. You don't want to sit in the front row of the class. You don't want to take that extra time in study hall or talk to your professor, but have the discipline to do that, have the discipline to eat the right way, have the discipline to be early, have the discipline to pick up the piece of trash in the locker room and not walk by it. And then persevere. Life's tough, and this game of football is tough. It's hard, and you got to be able to persevere. And I think that those are the things that we preached to them since day one, and not much has changed since that. And we continue to preach that every day. And the X's and O's, that stuff will come. I've always said it doesn't matter what you do, but how you do it. And so I think that their mindset is in the right place right now. And it doesn't mean that we're always going to win on Saturday, but hopefully we win the other 6 days of the week, and Saturdays will eventually happen for us.
Who are some of the players, offensively, defensively, who have caught your eye, who you feel like are going to be leaders on their respective units?
Yeah, well, offensively, really our backfield is, I think, really impressive. As good of backs as I've had, I feel like, and I've had some really good backs, and these backs are a little bit different. They're very multiple. They can do a lot of different things, but Del Vecchio Powell and JBC are two guys that just, I think, are really, really good. And like I said, they pass pro very well. They get out in routes, and they have great hands, if you put them in the pass game. And obviously they run the ball well, and they've got good speed and strength, and they're physical. And then two other backs that we have, Q, we just call them Q and Mackay. I mean, those two guys,
yeah.
And they're just different, they're bigger backs. So I think we have 4 running backs that can really go get it. And offensive line, we've got a couple really nice offensive linemen, and Trey Williams at tackle, Clint, who's at tackle, and then Keith Boyd is a real leader, really a leader on the whole team, really just does everything right offensively. So we're young at wide receiver, but we have Jalen Jones coming back, who, has a school record for the most touchdowns in a game last year. I think he had 5, maybe against Valpo or something like that. And then we got some good young receivers and young tight ends. So I think that we can spread it out and do a lot of different things offensively. Defensively, Keegan Holleran is a really good player for us, and Cam Watson, I think, is a leader at the rush linebacker position and does a lot of great things for us as well.
What's going on at quarterback for you?
Yeah, quarterback's a position right now that, man, it's still it's still up in the air. I think we have several guys that are still competing, and I wanted to make a decision before now, and I really just haven't. And I think that what gives our team the best chance to win is probably playing multiple quarterbacks, and because they bring some different things, to the table, and it's still trying to decide on how we're going to utilize those guys. But we have a transfer kid, Nate Hayden, who's got a really strong arm, and he's still kind of learning the system. And then we have Jake Davis, who played a little bit last year, has some good athleticism. He's got to be a lot more consistent. And then we have 2 young kids, both freshmen, Tyler Wesley and Ty Englehart, who's my son. So,
sure.
And both of those guys bring a lot to the table as well, and they have great leadership qualities. And so it's still up in the air, and I'm hoping somebody will just grab it. And I was hoping somebody would grab it today, but all of them did some good things. They both, all 4 of them had a few series here and there where they drove their team down to get points on the board. So it's still up in the air.
Yeah, work in progress.
It is.
What are you trying to do offensively in a Steve Englehart perfectly executed offense? What will fans see?
Well, I think we're going to be really multiple. You're going to see a lot of different things. Everything starts with the run. I mean, we want to be able to run the ball, and like I said, we've got 4 backs that can all, carry the ball effectively and get into pass routes and pass protection. But I like using tight ends as much as I can as well, and just very much spread. We'll huddle up sometimes and go slow, and then we'll go tempo and be no huddle and fast, and we'll go everything from full on spread empty formations to, double tight end, 2 back, type of deal. So we're just going to be multiple and try to keep people on their toes.
Mm-hmm. So looking at the roster, I see 2 kickers. I don't see anybody listed as a punter. And that's always, of course, in these parts, that's a joking kind of a question. We all know what was going on last year. Actually, I do see a punter.
Yeah,
Peter Lipscomb.
Yeah, Peter Lipscomb. Yeah. He's a freshman. He's got to develop a little more and get a little bit stronger. Yeah. Parker Madry is a kid that will probably handle all of our kicking and punting duties. Has done a really good job. He actually played here a couple years ago and then didn't play last year. Just per the situation, didn't end up playing and came walking in my office in the spring and said he wanted to come back out and kick and punt, and we welcomed him with open arms, and he's done a nice job. He's just got to get more consistent as well. He's been out of it for a year.
Now, will your offense understand, like in your first home game, if they have to come off the field because of a punt and the punt team comes on and the Blue Hose fans stand up and cheer?
We've made a pretty good emphasis of punt, and I think that I think we've done a good job with that. But I've thought about just to get all the cheering over with, maybe our first home game, when we take the kickoff, we'll just go ahead and punt it on first down and see what happens.
Yeah. Or what was the other thing that you would? Well, of course, do you like to go for it on fourth down, or are you a little more methodical in your thinking?
Well, definitely methodical, but we will go for it on fourth down. I think there's a good area where you go for it. I think if the situation presents itself, and I think if you're comfortable with, even if you're in your own territory, I'm never probably going to go for it on at my own 10 or 15-yard line. But I think even if you're in your own territory and you feel really good with your run game and what you've been doing, I think that there's a time and place to go for it. And certainly when you get into that, that area that is just, where if you punt it and you punt it in the end zone and you don't do a good job of pooch punting and pinning them back,
sure,
you may only give up 10 yards or so. Well, that may be a time to risk it and go for it. So we'll definitely go for it on fourth down. And, I think I respect Coach Kelly a lot for, sticking to his guns and doing what he believed in. And I do think that ultimately across America, I think that coaches probably should go for it on fourth down more than what they do. And I think that you start to see that with a lot of the analytics and things like that people do. You see SEC teams now going for a little more regular on fourth down than what you did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So I do think that there's a place for it. But I also believe in playing good defense and making a team, drive the distance. If you can pin them down at their own 5-yard line, they got to drive 95 yards. That's a lot harder to do for an offense to stay consistent and have a 15 to 18 play drive. Offenses tend to make mistakes and get behind the chains somewhere along the line. So if you give them a short field and give the ball to them at midfield more consistently, then they're going to have a better opportunity to score. So I do believe in giving long field when you can.
All right, last thing, we'll let you go because your players are here and you got to run to a meeting. What's your grand plan for Presbyterian football? When you took the job, in your mind, what did you envision being able to do here over time?
Well, we're going to grow the program. We're going to get alumni back involved. We're going to fill the stands. We're going to put out a product that is going to make our alumni and our campus community and our Clinton community proud. And we're going to win a Pioneer Football League championship. And I don't know when it's going to be, but that's what we're going to do. And I think that we'll have the discipline and the hardness of a team to be able to persevere and do that.
No Newberry in your future.
No Newberry in the future. We are focused on, the Pioneer League and having a great rivalry with Davidson. And I know a lot of alumni, would like to see that. Newberry alumni, I think, as well, especially. And, that was, that was in the past, and it was a great thing. It was a great thing in the past. And I think that we're really, we're looking forward to having a great rivalry with Davidson.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much for
having me.
having me.
Great meeting you in person. We've had you on the show a couple of times before, but great meeting you in person. You're going to do a great job here, and look forward to talking to you throughout the season.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Coach Steve Englehart, first-year coach here at Presbyterian College. And after the break, we're going to hear from a couple of the players who have wandered in, and we'll have them with us here after the break as we continue from down here in what we call the dungeon of the Templeton Center. It's a great place to do a show, and they're taking great care of us. We appreciate Coach being here. I got a feeling he's going to do a great job, guys, and we'll talk more about that coming up, but he seems like a sound – this is not a gimmicky football coach. I think the players are they're already nodding. This is straight, pure football-minded guy, and I got the feeling he's going to do an excellent job here at PC. We'll be back with the players in a moment.
Parents ask, what's the best way to save for college? I'm State Treasurer Curtis Loftus, and my answer is always open a Future Scholar 529 college savings account. It's easy. You can get started online with any amount. It's flexible to adapt to your child's college dreams. And you can deduct 100% of your contributions from the South Carolina state tax return. So what are you waiting for? Go to futurescholar.com and see why it's the smart, easy way to save for college. futurescholar.com.
It all builds up to this at Darlington Raceway.
If you're going to kick off the playoffs,
Good stop, guys.
why not do it big?
Green flag is up.
Like Labor Day weekend big.
Get in your car here. That's how you make a move.
Like Southern 500 big. The only thing bigger than the action would be the experience of seeing it live. And that
I got into the wall.
might just be too tough to take.
Bring it home, bring it home.
NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 3rd through the 4th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
Your home is where your memories live. It's where you laugh and where you love. We understand the importance of the valuables under your roof, tangible and intangible alike. So no matter what's around the corner, we'll be there, offering you and your family the support that's made Farm Bureau Insurance a trusted name for nearly 70 years. You deserve more. You deserve a promise. Learn more at scfbins.com.
Call me, Alex Satterfield, at 803-749-9171 for all of your Midlands insurance needs.
Life, it has its ups and downs. Sometimes it's little things like hitting every red light or dropping your cell phone. Maybe it's the bills, rent, or pressure at work. But when it comes to the South Carolina Education Lottery, you should never feel like playing will solve everything. The lottery is a game. It's played for fun. So set a dollar amount. Expect not to win and make sure responsibilities, family, friends, and work come first. Visit playresponsiblysc.com.
Okay, we're back on Sports Talk. We're here at Presbyterian College on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour. And now, Coach Englehart is gone. We welcome in a couple of his players. Both of them, one's a running back, Delvecchio Powell, redshirt junior from Savannah, and Keegan Halloran, 6'1", 192, redshirt junior from Woodruff High School. So it's great to have you two with us. Delvecchio, start with you. Coach mentions you as being an outstanding player on the offensive side. And what do you think of him so far and the kind of offense he's trying to implement with you guys?
Coach Englehart is a really good coach, just a great person overall, and he cares about us. And I just love how he coaches.
Yeah.
Offensively, I think we're gonna do a lot of good things, like you mentioned, running multiple things, either 21, get different kind of personnel is gonna be really good for us.
Am I right when I say about him, he's just kind of a not fancy, kind of a straightforward, pure football guy?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
How's it feel to have kind of that mindset on the offensive side?
It feels great to be back to it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sounds like Keegan, he's putting in not a lot of rules, but a lot of expectations of you guys in terms of changing the culture and just the way you carry yourself and the way you represent Presbyterian as a member of the football team? What kind of things, and you guys have both been here now going on 4 years, so what kind of things are you seeing from him that really impress you and kind of carry over to you?
I mean, he's been very impressive so far. Like, you can tell that image is a big thing for him, and just, as far as like the players going out on like in campus and everything to show, be respectful, carry yourself about the right way, just kind of doing the little things around campus just to kind of show like what kind of guys and what kind of team that we want to implement. So It's been great.
How has the defense looked so far?
We've been looking pretty good. Today the scrimmage was we probably didn't do too well. The offense, kudos to them. We'll give them their props for today.
But you won the first scrimmage.
Yes, sir, we did.
Yeah.
So but no, we got a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys, especially in the back seven. But overall, we definitely have the players to do it. We just gotta, put it all together. And we got the coaches, great coaching staff all together. So exciting.
They use you at corner or safety?
So actually, I was safety, but they have recently moved me down to linebacker.
Oh, okay.
Just get a little bit more speed in the box and everything, but we'll kind of see. I may go back and forth a little bit.
But that's a good move for you. You like playing linebacker? You like being up close to the line?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I do. It's a little different having to, just kind of play in the box and take on all the linemen at every single play.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But yes, sir. I definitely like it.
Del Vecchio, as I mentioned, you guys have been here through a lot, right? This would be, if my count is right, would be your third head coach.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, you went from, Coach Spangler as football man to Coach Kelly, football man, but different approach, and now back to Coach Englehart and his approach. I mean, what's it like for you to having gone through all that? What have you learned about football? What have you learned about life and seeing how things change so quickly?
I've learned a lot about life. Well, basically, like what our slogan is, PTR, just pull on the rope. I've learned a lot going through 3 coaches, football, back to gimmicky, back to football again. You learn a lot. So learn to persevere and all.
Football to gimmicky to football.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, gimmicky was tough.
Yeah, it was tough. It was very much tough for the defense, for the offense. Just it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure as well too.
Yeah, well, people were talking about you, but maybe for not the reasons you wanted to be talked about. So, what do you like about the offense that you see coming together? I mean, how explosive do you think you guys can be as an offensive unit?
I think we can be very explosive. We have some fast guys at receiver. Just our O-line looks pretty good. They create a lot of holes for us, and our running backs, like Coach mentioned, we got 4 of us. That's pretty good, and our quarterback's coming along too. We have a lot of talent all over. So I think we're gonna be pretty explosive this year.
Think it's gonna be a running back by committee?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I think so. So we all can do a lot of different things. I can go out to the slot. They can go out to the slot. We can split out wide. You can have a lot of us in there. We probably could go 30 personnel sometimes too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be a pretty creative offensive mind on offense. Coach Englehart, the offensive coaches, they seem to be pretty creative in what they're doing.
Yes, sir. They all are. They all what's the word I'm looking for? They coexist with one another. They do a good job with it.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah. Keegan, defensively, what about up front? How do you think you guys have looked on your defensive front? Good group up there, run stoppers, guys want to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. What do you see up front?
Oh, yes, sir, most definitely. We're actually pretty deep. We'll probably be rotating, 3 to 4 groups through the D-line because they want those guys going, as fast as they can every single play. So we're going to be rotating a lot, and we definitely have the players. We got some fast players. We got some players that can, stop the run or kind of do it all. So, I'm excited about that group up there. They've definitely kind of set a good example for the defense. So
odd or even front primarily?
We're odd, and sometimes we'll roll down to even. It just kind of depends on the call. So we mix it up a good bit.
Yeah. The coaches, defensive coaches, they like to blitz a lot, or they like to sit back and just play straight up. What are you laughing at?
Coach Dan Owen, we call him Dio. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
We absolutely love him. He's one of my favorite coaches that we got.
Yeah.
But yeah, he likes to blitz. I'm not going to tip our hand too much.
Right.
But yeah, we like to get after it when the time's needed. But there's always a time and place for every type of call, or I guess stuff like that. So yes, sir.
Yeah. The future of PC football now with Coach Englehart. I mean, if he really plants his flag here and says, "I'm going to make something special this place," what do you think can happen here?
I think Coach Englehart's got it's in great hands, especially in his hands. He's going to do a hell of a job. Conference championship, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
He plans to compete. He doesn't know how long it's going to take to win a Pioneer League championship, but he wants to do that.
I think we can do it this
Obviously,
year.
he wants to. You think you can do it this year?
Yes, sir. I believe it.
Keegan, what do you think?
I 100% believe that. We have the players, we have the coaches, and we're all buying into that. And he set a good example for what we have to do to achieve that. And I think that we're doing the right things right now, but there's only one place to go, and that's up. So,
well, you guys, great examples of what they're trying to do here, no question about it. So good luck to you. Stay healthy. Hope things go well. Look for a lot of W's.
Yes, sir.
Coming out of PC here.
A bunch of them.
They used to do a lot of winning around this place. They know what it's like to win here, so you guys can get it done. No question. Thanks for joining us, okay, guys?
Thank you.
Sir.
Appreciate
Thank
it. Delvecchio Powell and Keegan Halloran with us here on Sports Talk. We'll be back after this break.
On Point Weather is made possible by our friends at Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union on 107 The Point.
And here's tonight's forecast. Cloudy with the low dipping down to 71 this evening. Tomorrow, much like today, with a high of 86 and mostly cloudy skies. There's only a 20% chance we get some Tuesday shower activity. Looking ahead, mid-80s as our high temps all week with rain chances much higher on Thursday and Friday. I'm Brian Leonard with your On Point local weather.
Dave Ramsey here. Do you want your money to work for you rather than you working for your money? Go see my Palmetto Citizens Federal Credit Union. They're not a mega bank and have been serving the Midlands since 1936, offering good old-fashioned customer service and free services. They'll look out for your financial well-being. With 14 locations, check them out today at palmettocitizens.org. Federally insured by the NCUA.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Police in Atlanta arrested a woman today in connection with a deadly shooting. Police say she shot 3 people, killing 2 of them at 2 different locations. It happened about 2 o'clock local time this afternoon. The crime now under investigation. Former President Trump has filed a motion seeking an independent review of the records seized by the FBI during what he calls its unprecedented and unnecessary raid of Mar-a-Lago earlier this month. According to the motion filed today in the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of Florida, Mr. Trump and his legal team seeking an order to appoint a special master to review the records obtained during that search and block any further review by federal agents of those seized materials, at least for the time being. First Lady Jill Biden has left COVID-19 isolation after twice testing negative for the coronavirus. This is SRN News.
I'm already a big fan of Medicare Blueprint. Tim and his team saved me several $1,000s. They took a look at my health insurance. They helped me get the best possible plan. But not long ago, I reached out when we had a crisis. The big bad insurance company out of nowhere just canceled Mom's medicine for her multiple sclerosis. No warning, 30 years, same med, and just like that, gone. Here's the good news. Medicare Blueprint doesn't work for the insurance companies. They work for you. They're local. Imagine me trying to get this fixed, calling some national toll-free number. Outsourced operators never talk to the same person twice. Medicare Blueprint went to work, helped me get Mom's meds back, and how's this? Even less expensively than we were paying before. Incredible customer service and local. What a great formula. Oh, and it cost me nothing for their services. Nothing. Whether you're on Medicare or not, my mom is, I'm not. Medicare Blueprint help both of us. Online, it's MedicareBlueprint.com or call them 708-7398. That's 708-7398.
When you're a military veteran with over 40,000 organizations trying to help you, it can be hard to find the right information. That's why AARP brings together valuable resources to help you navigate your options. AARP.org/veterans. With the free veteran employment and fraud prevention resources, caregiving tools, and access to discounts, AARP, on a mission to support veterans. Visit AARP.org/veterans today.
This is Roger Metz, host of Woods and Water, South Carolina. We often hear shop local. Well, deer hunters, you can do just that at Verdon's Farm and Garden Center in Lawrence, South Carolina.
Do you need a new deer stand, trail camera, or mineral block? They have all that and more.
Need seed? Plant their widely sold Verdon's Wildlife Mix, a 10-seed blend, or maybe just grab a couple of bags of oats.
They have shelled corn all year long and bring in cob corn during deer season.
Deer hunters, you can get all this and more at Verdon's Farm and Garden Center on Highway 221 in Lawrence, South Carolina, just a few miles off the interstate.
So shop local at Verdon's, and please tell them that Woods and Water SC sent you.
Hey, it's Jake Kilmartin with The Melting Pot. Everybody says cheese when you dine at The Melting Pot. We've got the picture-perfect night out for you and the whole family. Cheese, salad, entree, and when you finish with our yin-yang chocolate fondue, you'll have the perfect photo finish. Come and see us. Plan your summer vacation. Call us at 731-8500 or go online to meltingpot.com. We're at 1410 Colonial Life Boulevard. The Melting Pot.
Everyone seems to be hiring these days, but are they good jobs where there's potential for growth? What about on-the-job training and competitive wages, including health insurance and a 401k plan? Professional Printers is looking for their next star. They're a local printer with 2 locations, 130 employees, and a national clientele. If you've got a good attitude, want to learn some great skills, and work in a positive environment, reach out on proprinters.com or apply in person at 301B Greystone Boulevard.
All right, back with you on Sports Talk. Thanks to the guys here at Presbyterian, players Delvecchio Powell and Keegan Halloran, and Coach Steve Englehart. Boy, I think just listening to Coach Englehart, I've been impressed with him every time we've had him on the show. This is the 3rd time we've talked to him right after he was hired, and then we did something in the spring and now tonight. He's just impressive.
Agreed.
Impressive to listen to and impressive in person.
I do find it interesting that not only him, but also his players kept calling what happened last year as gimmicky football.
Yeah.
And even the PC kids weren't sold on what Coach Kelly was trying to do last year. None of us were as well, though I am terribly disappointed. And I get it. Steve Englehart's getting his marching orders from the administration, but him blowing off the Newberry rivalry and saying they're trying to create a rivalry with Davidson. They played Davidson 5 times in their history. That's not a rivalry, Phil. They've got a rival 20 minutes down the road.
I think my feelings are very clear about that, as are yours. I don't want to say it too loud in this particular building.
That's why I brought it up, because it's on
well,
my end.
He told me off air we were talking about it, and I mean, he's like, look, that's the past, and they're in a different division, and they've got their sights set on building a living as an FBS team in the Pioneer League and moving, or an FCS team in the Pioneer League, and moving forward, and that's what they're doing, not looking back, but moving forward.
Guys, they only lost 70-35 last year to Davidson when they played.
Plus, I think he realizes, too, that right now, I mean, if they were to line up to play Newberry, they'd get smashed.
They might lose 70-35.
Right.
I get it. But don't try and play off. PC's biggest rivals of all time are Wofford and Newberry, not Davidson. So stop it. I get it. He's got to say that stuff, but stop. It's not. That's not a rivalry.
Do that again. I like when you do that.
What's that?
Say stop it.
Just stop. Stop trying to present a rivalry that's not. PC's rivalries have long been Wofford and Newberry College, not Davidson.
Stop it. Stop it. All right.
Especially since Steph Curry's not at Davidson anymore.
That's right. What's the attraction? We're going to catch up with John Kosis of the Red Hot Fireflies in a moment, but also on the baseball side of things. Today, Monty Lee was, I guess maybe more or less officially introduced via a Zoom as the new associate head baseball coach at South Carolina. Mark Kingston not available because he's contracted COVID, and so he's dealing with that. So we just did Monty over a Zoom. We'll have Monty with us live tomorrow night at 6:30 to talk more. But here's a little snippet of his about a 40-minute deal he did with us. All of it's on our website, sportstalksc.com. It's also up in podcast form on our podcast platforms. But here's a little bit of him from the introduction to some questions, Monty Lee.
Main thing I want to share with everybody is just how grateful I am to be back at the University of South Carolina, serving this great program, serving the coaching staff here, and serving the players. It's just a lot of gratitude on my part to be in this position and excited to get started.
A couple of questions. Have you decided if you're going to wear the number 43 like you were the last time, or maybe an 18? And then just how did this process start? When did you maybe first talk to Mark, or Mark first reach out to you?
Yeah, as far as the number, that's yet to be determined. I'm not a big number guy, quite honestly. Whatever jersey they give me will be just fine. I picked 43 when I came here in the fall of 2002 because I was a volunteer assistant, and that was like one of the only jersey numbers they had left. So when you're the volunteer, you kind of take what you can get. But honestly, I don't know about the number. And it's certainly not a priority. I'm a big believer the players should get the numbers first, and then we as coaches just take whatever is left. As far as how the process started, it happened very quickly. Mark contacted me once Coach Kaye's situation began to kind of unfold, where it looked like he was going to be moving back with his family. And stepping down from his position. Mark reached out to me and, made it clear that he wanted me to come to Columbia and work for him. And I was just super excited about the opportunity. It happened very, very fast, I will tell you that. But it was a no-brainer situation for me just to be able to come back and work for Mark. So yeah, I mean, it didn't take long for me to know, just talking to Mark, just based on his excitement about the potential of me coming back, just how it made me feel. I was just very, very grateful that he called and really wanted me to come and work for him and help him with the program. And, it was an easy yes for me.
Hey, Monty, I hope you're doing well. Just a quick question. You obviously come in at an odder time, coming in right as school starting and players are getting back on campus. What do the next few weeks look like for you in trying to learn these guys, what makes them tick, and how to kind of help them with their games?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think my main priority is to get to know the people in the room first. I think that's very, very important. For the players to gain trust in me, they have to know me first. And look, they don't care how much I know until they know how much I care. I think that's the main objective for me right now, is being in the role that I am in. I'm here to serve, to lead. I think that's really, really important for me early on, is to show the players that I'm here to lead them by serving them first. So just getting to know them individually, where they're from, their strengths, their weaknesses, how I can help them. And then, on the flip side of that, for them to get to know me. It's certainly going to be an adjustment. I'm certainly going to show them things in the cages, out on the field, that may be a little bit different in terms of what they've been taught in the past. A lot of it, I hope, is some of the things they've already heard and are already familiar with. But we know it's going to be an adjustment, but the main priority is just to develop that relationship with the players and get into a good comfort zone and understanding of what we want to try to create and what we want to try to do here in the fall.
Hey, Monty, welcome back. I know, obviously, you've been, the last several years, you've been a head coach, and I'm sure there's probably a degree of pride that comes with that. And I'm sure you've had, as you're looking at this offseason, I'm sure you had plenty of opportunities head coaching wise. I guess, was there any reservations or any weirdness, or just, I guess, how does it feel, I guess, sort of to go from that to, now working for Mark and being his associate head coach?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important that what I believe, if I want the players to believe in something, I have to believe in it too, right? And, we're going to be really, really big on the players being selfless and putting the program first and dominating their role. I think that's very, very important. Look, if you want to play at a national championship level, you have to be willing to sacrifice for the program, be selfless, and dominate your role. And look, I have no problem whatsoever doing everything that I can to dominate the role that I'm in. That's what I did as an assistant coach for 8 years. Look, I was an assistant coach for 8 years before I became a head coach. And my sole mission as an assistant coach was to dominate the role that I was in as an assistant coach. The title does not necessarily matter to me. I'll be quite honest with you. My motivation is not to do a good job as an assistant coach, associate head coach, whatever the title is, hitting coach, base running, outfield, recruiting. It's not to do well in that role, to be a head coach again. My job is to do the very best job I can for the University of South Carolina baseball program to recruit the best players I can, to develop the players that we have here, and to help Mark Kingston get to Omaha and win a national championship. That is my role, and I'm going to do everything I can to dominate that role and put this program first. It is not about me. This is about the players. This is about the head coach and helping all of the people in the building succeed at a high level.
All right, Monty Lee, formerly of Clemson, now of USC. We'll talk to him live tomorrow night on Sports Talk. Coming up after the break, John Kosis of the Fireflies. They remain red hot. We'll talk about what's going on with them. Also, Scott Eisberg down in Charleston reported that USC Salkehatchie's AD, Jeremy Joy, told him they've had to cancel the basketball season. They don't have enough players to play. So he wanted to do the right thing by his players and release them. He plans to hire a coach to recruit this high school season and then play next season. That's a junior college level team there at USC Salkehatchie. We'll be back.
Summer weather has arrived in South Carolina, and you know what that means. Sweet, tasty South Carolina peaches are hitting shelves near you. Most people tend to think of Georgia as the peach state, but South Carolina is the East Coast's top producing peach state, so we know a thing or two about a great tasting peach. The next time you're in the grocery store or local farmer's market, keep an eye out for those sweet, tasty, certified SC peaches. Discover more about the tastier peach state at scpeach.org.
Hey Fireflies fans, the boys are back in town. Get ready for nonstop Fireflies baseball action this Tuesday through Sunday at Segra Park. Catch a Miller Lite $2 Tuesday, White Claw Wednesday, Budweiser Thursday, Freebie Friday, Saturday night postgame fireworks show, or a Sunday fun day with postgame kids run the bases. There's something fun for everyone at the ballpark. Get your tickets now at firefliestickets.com. Columbia Fireflies baseball is fun for all.
Hey folks, it's Mike Morgan for Gibson Insurance. Former Gamecock player Bo Mobley and former coach Stuart Lake want you on their team for all your insurance needs. Now, cost-effective solutions is what they're all about for the now and for the long term. They're licensed with every insurance company in the state. They've got offices in Columbia, Greenville, and Sumter. But if you're listening right now, let me direct you to call Bo and Stu today at 803-605-0029. That's 803-605-0029. Let my good friends take great care of you.
I'm attorney Jim Corbett. I love sports, and I've helped people for over 30 years. Contact me at jim@jimcorbettattorney.com when the insurance company won't pay your claim or you have complicated issues. Some other business causes your business to lose money, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com. When you lose a relative and find out you got cut out of a will or don't get what was promised. When you have serious injury, like from a wreck or mishap or on the job, jim@jimcorbettattorney.com.
In Columbia, South Carolina, game days are our specialty. Whether you're watching the game from inside the stadium or from the big screen at your favorite local spot, the energy remains the same. Craft the perfect fall Saturday in a city where there is plenty of action on and off the field. From tubing and kayaking to Soda City to rooftop restaurants and plenty barbecue. We're ready when you are. Plan your weekend at experiencecolumbiasc.com.
All right, we continue talking some baseball on this Monday night. Just heard from Monty Lee over at USC. Now, the Fireflies, they remain red hot, put together a very nice winning streak, came to an end over the weekend. John Kosis, voice of the Fireflies, joins us now. Good to have you with us once again. The fun is in the winning, and you guys have been doing a lot of that. It's got to be a lot of fun over there now as we kind of head down the home stretch of the second half of the regular season.
Yeah, it's been an absolute blast, Phil. And honestly, these draftees have been one of the most fun classes of draftees to watch top to bottom that I've seen in my 5 or 6 years of minor league baseball. And, that's not just Gavin Cross, who had a 2-home run game and a 3-home run series this last week, but even Ben Sears picked up in the 14th round. He had a pair of scoreless innings this last week. And Cooper McKeon out of BYU in the 16th round. Well, he is not allowed to run in his tenure with the Fireflies. So it's been really fun to watch, literally from top to bottom, these draftees doing their thing.
I mean, they come in, they're not perplexed with professional baseball, the pitching side of it, the hitting side of it. They just step right in.
That's what it seemed like so far. Normally there's a little bit of a adjustment period. I don't want to speak too soon, right? Because sometimes someone will come out real hot just because there's no tape on them, and then someone gets tape on them and they figure something out, right? But here early on, we've gotten 5 college guys and 2 international guys over the course of the last 2 weeks, and all of them have played very well for the Columbia Fireflies.
Who caught your attention? Which guys have stood out to you the most?
I think it's hard to go away from the first rounder, Gavin Cross. All eyes were on him, and it would have been easy for him to buckle. I've seen first rounders. One example is actually still in the league playing for Fredericksburg. Jackson Rutledge was a first rounder in 2019 when I was with the Hagerstown Suns. He's still in the league trying to figure it out 3 years later. Sometimes when there's all that pressure on you, it's really difficult to perform. But Cross has come out of the gates hot. He has I think it's 1,100 OPS. And it's just a ridiculous number. He's hitting 286. He has 1 home run in each 9 at-bats he has with the Fireflies this season. So 4 home runs in 36 at-bats, and he has 11 RBI in 11 games. I mean, he's been absolutely phenomenal. As many walks as strikeouts, that was the one thing that a lot of people said that the Virginia Tech product was going to have some trouble with. They said that he's not very disciplined at the plate, but when you walk as much as you strike out, people can't complain about that.
I think I saw, maybe you guys tweeted it, that one of your former players is about to make a major league debut maybe tonight or maybe sometime this week.
He did yesterday. It was Jose Butto for the New York Mets made his major league debut yesterday. He went 4 innings, 5 strikeouts. He got beat up a little bit, but it was a spot start. He actually, on Wednesday, had pitched 1 inning for Syracuse versus Charlotte, so he was just an hour north of us. Pitched 1 inning. He's a starter, so he normally goes deep into games. They pulled him, and he's like, what's going on? He was a little upset initially. And they said, well, we pulled you because you're going to be making your major league debut in 2 days, so you can't pitch a full 5 innings tonight. So it was a really special moment for him. And the Mets ended up winning in his debut. They beat the Phillies 10-9. So the offense came out and supported him, although we've seen the Mets all year long, even from a Braves vantage point. You got to at least respect how good that offense is.
Yeah, no question. But their pitching will be anything it's going to take them to a championship is going to be that pitching that they can throw at you. What's coming up now for the guys? I imagine you're hitting the road after the homestand. What's ahead?
Oh, we are sticking at Sacred Park. We got 6 more games. Salem's coming into town, so the Red Sox will be here at Sacred Park this week.
Who's coming in?
The Salem Red Sox.
Well, hang on. You said Red Sox, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Boo! All right, go ahead.
Oh, hey, it's totally fine. We're cool with booing the Red Sox. And what's very fun from a Fireflies fan perspective is that a couple of big names, Marcelo Meyer, last year's Red Sox first-round pick, as well as Jordan Blaze, who is leading the league in OPS. Both of them got called up last week. So hopefully the Fireflies will be able to take advantage of that and take a couple of games home against the Salem Red Sox right now, 3.5 games behind Charleston for first place in that South Division. So, neck and neck, considering the fact that Charleston comes to Sacred Park for 6 games to end the season.
Ooh, okay.
John Costas of the Fireflies, I was going to ask you about that season-ending series with Charleston. It's obviously going to be critically important, John, but considering the next 2 series you guys have are against both Salem, as Phil pointed out, and also Carolina out of the north side of the coin, you almost have to just kind of stay afloat right now, don't you, against teams that aren't in your division prior to looking too far ahead to that Charleston series, right?
Yeah, it's tough. You have to play you got to win the series, but you have to win 4 games. You have to win 5 games. You have to win all 6 to keep pace or make a game up over the Charleston River Dogs. That's the game that you have to play when you're playing out of division. The good news for the Fireflies, Charleston plays Fayetteville this week. which is the bottom team in the South Division. Maybe not fantastic news. But the week before Charleston comes into town, they've got 6 against the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, who already clinched in the first half. They're a pretty darn good team. So I imagine that second week, it's the last week of August combined with the first week of September. That one, Columbia has a chance to make up a couple of games of ground before Charleston comes into town.
What's the big fan attraction besides the baseball, the big fan attractions for this week?
Oh, Saturday we're going to have Marvel Defender of the Diamond Night. I think I teased it a little bit last week, but I'm really excited for this one. We're going to be giving away specialty worn Black Panther jerseys. Black Panther as well as Black Widow will be making character appearances at the ballpark, and we're going to have a ton of little surprises along with a fireworks show on Saturday. I think that's going to be a really good one for fans of superhero movies or just people who are looking to get the kids to come out, right? Kids can always look up and tell you anything you need to know about any of the latest Marvel movies. So that'll be exciting for a family night on Saturday.
As always, John, we thank you. Keep up the winning 8-2 in your last 10 games after an 8-game winning streak. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Can't wait for it. Thanks for having me, Chris and Phil.
Thanks,
Thanks, John.
John Kosis of the Red Hot Fireflies. All right, I had a couple of recruiting notes to finish up with because we had to break in there and run to the interviews here with the Presbyterian folks. So we were talking about Caden McDonald, Clemson target defensive tackle, Sewanee, Georgia. So he's got an official to Clemson November 26th, but he plans to announce a commitment on Halloween. You know, nice. Dabo Sweeney's rule, right? His rule is if you are going to commit to us, then if he's going to announce on Halloween, but he's not going to visit Clemson officially till November 26th, then he's got other official visits scheduled after Halloween. He's already been to Florida. He's scheduled for Michigan September 9th and Ohio State September 23rd. So if he announces for Clemson on Halloween, then he'll have to cancel those other visits. See what I'm saying? So
I understand.
We'll see if he,
could be kind of spooky, huh?
Yeah, indeed. One-time USC target wide receiver Aiden Williams of Ridgeland, Mississippi, committed to Ole Miss on Sunday. 2025 wide receiver Stephen Collier of River Bluff was offered by Charlotte. Tonight, Dutch Fork running back Jarvis Green committed to James Madison. And in basketball over the
for them, Phil.
Yeah.
That kid is good.
Quality running back.
Yeah, and I think under-recruited.
Well, maybe so. Maybe so. I think he wanted to go bigger. He wanted to go Power 5, but evaluated and passed on by the schools around here and I guess others as well. But James Madison's obviously a strong up-and-coming program.
No doubt.
And in basketball, 6'11", Jordan Butler of Christ Church made his official to USC over the weekend. That was his second. He's already been to Auburn, went there on a junior official visit. He is scheduled for Florida State this coming weekend. Of course, his brother played there before entering the draft. He also holds offers from Alabama, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Butler, which is where he should go because the school's named for him, Jordan Butler playing at Butler, and Missouri. He's also taken unofficial visits to USC, Virginia Tech, Georgia, Butler, and Auburn, and Georgia Tech. And his team was coached by his father, went to team camp at Auburn. And he plans to take officials to Missouri and Georgia Tech as well. Oregon has also been showing interest with former USC assistant Chuck Martin, now with the Ducks. Last season, Butler averaged 14 and 8. Really good players. Brothers was a really good player and had a night in the summer league there playing for the Pelicans where he went something like 9 for 9, I think it was, from the floor. He was outstanding. So, all right, there you go with the last of the recruiting information. Want to thank the folks here at Presbyterian for taking great care of us. Brandon Burke, who is new here at PC. He's from Tennessee. He's a Vols fan. Otherwise, he's a nice guy. And Greg Hartledge, our old buddy here at Presbyterian, who's already left the building. But they took great care of us. Always enjoy visiting here.
Do.
Be up at Furman tomorrow and then up and down the roads the rest of the week. Anything else on your mind, sir?
Yeah. Actually, I want to backtrack since I was on my high horse a little bit. I wanted to correct a mistake I made.
No,
I was looking
stop
back.
it.
I knew.
Stop it.
I knew PC Davidson. I was thinking 5 games. No, that doesn't sound right. So I looked back at PC's old archives, and they actually started their series with him back in 1919. They've actually played 30 times with
Oh, okay.
Davidson. But the most recent ones were the last 5 or so in Division One. But nonetheless, they have played a few more times than I made it sound earlier. So I wanted to make sure I got that corrected.
I mean, I don't know. We'd all love to see PC and Newberry
We
get
would,
together
no
now,
doubt.
wouldn't we? I mean, we would. But and I think the fans would. This is a case where
doubt.
administration is standing in the way. I think if you polled a majority of PC fans and just flat out asked them, do you want to play Newberry?
100% would say yes.
Yeah, probably so. Probably so. If you got him in the right frame of mind, probably so. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you, Chris.
Yes, sir.
And thank you, Pat. And we will take a break here for 22 hours and regroup tomorrow night from up at beautiful Furman University right there underneath Paris Mountain. See you tomorrow.